Let's make a track using only the Moog Minitaur. So the Minitaur saw the light of day over 12 years ago now. Yet it's still a mighty fine beast of a synth. Now one challenge I like to do when I get a new piece of gear is to create an entire track, including drums, using only that piece of gear. I've never actually done this with the Minitaur. I'm not sure if it works out, but it's definitely gonna be interesting. So I'm gonna sample everything into the Digitakt 2, and I might use some of the effects and filters. But other than that, it's the raw sound, so no further processing. And yeah, let's just start with a simple kick. So I'm sending out MIDI on track 16 on the Digitakt, and the Minitaur is set to MIDI channel 4. And I've also got Arturia key step set to the auto channel of the Digitakt. Alright, so for this patch, I'll turn down both oscillators, so we hear nothing. But I'm gonna turn up the resonance all the way. So it starts to self-oscillate. And the cool thing is that we can now control the filter with the envelope right here. So I'm just going to turn up the envelope amount. And turn down the filter cutoff. And maybe reduce the amount a little bit. And we've got a kick. Play around with the decay time. And you can also play around with the amplifier. Make it really short or longer. You can even add some release, so just press the release button. Alright, we can even add some LFO, so just modulating the filter cutoff, but if you turn up the rate, and play around with the amount, you can add some, kind of like a FM sound. Okay, let's enter some notes. It's still a bit high, that's because filter tracking is turned on. But if I go to the editor for a second, I can also change most things on the panel, but I never remember all these key combinations. So I'm just going to use the editor. Yeah, if you go to under the hood, here's the keyboard tracking. If I turn it down, maybe we don't even need FM. Let's record that. Let's trim the sample. Assign to track 1. Okay, we've got a kick. By the way, of course, the Minitaur also has CV inputs, so I could just patch it to a Eurorack system, but I imagine not everyone has a Eurorack system, so I'm just gonna use only the Minitaur and maybe some MIDI. Yeah, but let's see if we can make a tom sound. Go back to track 16, add some a rhythm. Okay, let's turn down the resonance, turn on oscillator 1, turn off the sustain, turn down the release, and turn down the decay. Turn down the filter, open up the envelope, also turn down the release, and use a really short decay. Yeah, okay, let me change the MIDI notes. Actually, maybe I want to use some release on the amplifier. So if you strike a tom, it usually sustains for a pretty long time actually. Let's add some filter amount. You can also add some resonance. Play around with the filter cutoff. And that's the cool thing now, because I've disabled key tracking. I can set the filter to a different pitch than the oscillator. So we've basically got 3 oscillators now. Look, and that sounds a little bit more like a tom. You can make it really deep. You do lose a little bit of low end when you turn up the resonance all the way. It's always a really fine balance with the envelope decay time. I don't want to tune it perfectly with the oscillator. I want a little bit of beating. You can also change the oscillator to a square. Okay, that sounds like a good tom sound. Let's record that. Let's store it over here. Let me mute the MIDI, put a trigger on step 1. I'm just gonna change the machine to grid mode. Yeah, so now it's chopping the sample into 4 parts. And I only want to use the second half, because otherwise if I choose a regular one-shot mode, I need to trim the sample, and that's pretty inaccurate, because you need to set the value exactly right, otherwise the timing is off. So I think this is a little bit easier if you go to grid mode, set the slice to 3, and yeah, then change the length to 2, so it plays for 1 bar. I do get a little click, so I think I'll turn up the attack a bit, and I could change the length as well to 16 steps, so 1 bar. Let's turn down the level a little bit. Maybe remove a little bit of high end with the filter. It's a little clicky. I should have turned down the envelope amount a little bit more, but it's already recorded, so let's do it right here. Okay, cool. Now, how the hell am I gonna make hi-hat sounds with this thing? I think we can use the LFO for that. Okay, let me go to the editor. I think we can change the LFO shape to random, the last one. Now I need to set a really short envelope on the amplifier. I need a lot of high end. I'm gonna turn up the resonance. Okay, so now I'm gonna add some LFO amount, modulating the filter. Turn up the rate. Okay. Yeah, maybe not random. Let's try another waveform. Yeah, maybe a pulse. I can also turn off MIDI sync, so I can set the rate a little bit faster. Okay, now let's increase the decay and the release. Maybe add some envelope amount. Maybe turn it all the way to the left. Turn up the attack. So we add some click. So basically the filter cutoff doesn't move up and then backwards. It goes in the other direction now. You can also add some pitch modulation. Change the waveform. And maybe add a second oscillator. You can also change the pitch. Okay, not really a hi-hat, but again, it's a bass synth, not a drum synth. I'm really pushing it to the limit right now. Ooh, that's cool actually. There it is. A hi-hat. We can play around with the velocity maybe. If I go to the editor right here, velocity sensitivity. So the louder I play, the higher the filter opens up. So maybe if we add some 16th notes, let's go to quantize mode and record that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, maybe change the velocity some more on some of the notes. A bit random. Now it would be cool if we can automate this, the decay. I think we can do that. Of course, the Digitakt has LFOs over MIDI. You can also automate it in your DAW or with an LFO inside Ableton. I just need to figure out the CC, so the MIDI note. So you can go to the manual for that, probably. Usually it's at the bottom somewhere. MIDI mapping, oscillators, mixer, filter, amplifier, decay, envelope, VCA, decay. CC 29, I think, or 61 maybe. Let's try. Okay, so let's add an LFO on CC value 1. Then I just need to change the value on the filter page, hold function and press the encoder. Oh, if I press the filter page again, I can change the CC 61 maybe. Let's see if that works. No, I think we need the other one. There's basically two CC values, and one is for coarse movements and one for really fine movements. So I think we need the other one. What was it? 60, 29? Oh, I'm not sure what happened, but I broke it. Alright, the only solution, turn it off and on again. Okay, I'm back. Okay, let's see if this CC value is really the decay. If I go to the filter page, turn up the value. Yeah, it is. I think I had the LFO turned on and I was scrolling through parameters and it upset the Minitaur. So that's probably why it got stuck. But now I can modulate this. If I turn up the depth. Let's set the speed to 32. Turn down the multiplier. Let me set the minimum value first. And then turn up the depth. Okay, that sounds cool. Let's record that. Okay, that's really the hi-hat I wanted, but it's cool. Now, if I want an offset, I can just move the note. If I change the machine to equalizer, I can add some boost in the high end. And if it's too sharp, I can add a second filter to tame it some more and just reduce the gain a bit. Maybe some bit crushing would help. Alright, enough drums. Let's add an arpeggio. Okay, let me dial in a more traditional sound. Turn down the filter, turn down the LFOs, turn down the resonance, increase the decay, and the sustain probably. Okay, that's loud. Okay, let's begin with one oscillator. Yeah, now arpeggiator is really simple. All you need to do is turn down the filter, increase the filter amount, and add a little bit of decay. And you've got an arpeggiator sound. Now the most important thing are of course the notes. So an arpeggiator is just a broken chord. It's easy to do on the key step, but right now it isn't synced. So I'm just going to do it on the Digitakt. Let's go to scale mode. Change the scale to minor. Turn on keyboard fold. And lower the octave. Okay, let's record something. I have no idea what. We'll see. I had one silent note. I think it's this one. Let me just overdub. Record again. it'll do for now. Might change it later, but let's tweak the sound. You know what, let's add an LFO. Modulate the filter, but really slowly. Okay, to make this pattern a bit more interesting, I'm just gonna change the pattern length. Hold function, press page. Now hold function, press yes. And we can reduce the pattern length of this pattern only. Let's change it to 15. Why isn't that working? Oh, because pattern reset is turned on. Let me change it to 64. And add a second oscillator. I forgot to turn off the decay, and because the parameter is set to 0 right here, when I press play it resets. So I'm gonna turn this one off for now. So it isn't sending out MIDI CC automation anymore. Okay, and let's record that. Let me change the LFO clock divider to 1 bar and turn down the rate a bit, and I'll re-record that. But the LFO doesn't restart, so I might want to start when it's at its lowest point. You can watch the LED and press play. Okay, track 4, add a note. I'm also going to change the mode to grid. We've recorded 8 bars, so I'll change the grid to 8 as well. Change the length to 1, and now we can select one of those banks. And we can basically control the amount of filter cutoff. But if we don't, it just keeps on looping, so we can do that as well. If I change the length to 4, now I need to increase the pattern length to 64. Oh, and I need to get rid of these notes, so it only triggers once. And of course I need to change the note length as well. 64. Okay, that's pretty smooth. It's sounding pretty good with just the Minitaur. Okay, let me store this just in case. Alright, let's add some pads, for example. Some really long notes. Let's turn up the sustain. Turn off the LFO. Yeah, a pad usually starts out with a very long attack and decay on the filter envelope. Turn down the cutoff so it opens up really slowly. And then closes down. Even longer. Okay, cool. Of course, this synth is monophonic, but we do have 2 oscillators, and we can detune one of them to create a pretty fat sound. Alright, so maybe we can add some detune. Filter, LFO, turn down the amount. Okay, not that much. Turn up the filter cutoff. Maybe add some resonance. Okay, let's record that. I'm just gonna play it in with the key step. Okay, let's change the pattern length to 64. Okay, yeah, let's record that. Okay, oh, before I enter a note, let me change the pattern to 128, so 8 bars. Add a note. Oh, and change the note length. Oh, okay, now I need to change my reset as well to 128. And I'll turn down the level a bit. Maybe remove some low end because I want to add one more sound, a bass. And let's add some chorus as well. And if you go to the arpeggio, let's add some delay. Turn on ping pong. Remove some high end. And maybe add some reverb as well. Increase the reverb time. Let's also add some delay to the high end, or whatever you call it. And let's pan the tom a little bit. Pan the hi-hat to the right. Maybe add some more high-end back to the tom. It's a bit hard to hear. Maybe even add some overdrive. Okay, don't forget to press save again. Otherwise you'll make stupid mistakes like me. Okay, let me add one more sound. The thing this entire device is made for: bass lines. I want to make a really rhythmic bass, pretty snappy, so short decay. Or maybe if we want, we can add some attack actually. And what I always like to do on bass lines on this thing is to detune the second oscillator up a fourth or a fifth. That's pretty cool, I think. Maybe add some more velocity sensitivity. Oh, my editor stopped working. Let me restart it. Ah, there it is. I probably disconnected the cable. Okay, I wanted to turn up the velocity sensitivity. So the harder I play, the more the filter opens up. Yeah, let's record 8 bars. Okay, it sounds a bit late right now because the attack is really long, and I compensated for that by playing a bit earlier. But to fix that, I need to shift all the notes. I'm not sure if there's an option to do that actually. But what I can do is I can shift the entire pattern a little bit to the left once it's been recorded. I think I'm gonna record it twice as long because I need some room before the note to be able to move it forwards. So let's do that. I've changed the sample length to maximum, and then I'm just gonna record it for 16 bars. Okay, so I need to start it right there. I'll leave a little bit of room at the start. I think that should do the trick. Maybe trim the end a little bit. Okay, so I've set the pattern length to 8 bars. I'll add a note on the first step, and the note length is 128, so 8 bars as well. And now I go to the sample menu, and now I can play around with the start time. So let's see. Now it starts too early, of course. And now it's too late. Unfortunately, you can't zoom in on this screen, so I need to fiddle around with it. Okay, I think that's it. Cool! I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this little jam. I hope this gives you some inspiration to experiment on your own. It's definitely a powerful instrument, and it's still my go-to instrument for deep, thundering sub-bass sounds. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next week with another tutorial.